Coops, I said at the start of the year that I thought Adam Fennell-Blake will be the buy of the season, and I'll stand by it. But I tell you what, Jarome Luai, he started the season. His performance yesterday in the heat, 73 minutes, and the quality of his work.
He's been the most dominant forward in the park for both the Tigers' performances, and great yesterday. But that first half yesterday, mate, it was uninspiring from both teams.
First 30 minutes was a real bludger.
Like, it was there for the taking, and all one team had to do after about 20 minutes was complete the next 5 sets. They would have scored 1 or 2 tries. I thought the Tigers obviously got their game together, defended pretty well for the majority of the game, but the reason why they got to, I think it was 16-0 at half-time, is with fatigue and both teams not playing well, anyone with footwork that had energy, that went to the contest and did something fast, came up with a play. Lachie Galvin came up with one, and Jarome Buller on that kick return, all of a sudden just saw tired, lazy defenders and went for it. So there's one thing that I thought Jarome Luai should have with Api Coruscant is there was acres of space in the middle third of the field in the Parramatta defence. If they had have just used some of that forward momentum from Tyrell May, quick play the ball, run, scoot, run, as opposed to pass, 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 because there was a couple of plays that I just thought from the Tigers that was static. It was slow. It was just, this is a training run, we'll stop pass, stop pass, stop pass. Parramatta's defence ate them up and there was an error, but just need to be more dynamic as opposed to halves being passes of the ball become runners.
Well, what we're seeing, Coops, with tendencies in the game, I'm looking where these upsets are driven by and good performances are driven by, and it's a lot of times the outside backs getting into the middle, because with the fast rucks, as you said, that's where the space is, and making those big opposition middles miss and fatiguing them, and it all just rolls from there. Yeah, the Tigers in the first half, Coops, they lacked decisiveness in that first 30 minutes. Watching them come out of yardage, I didn't know whether they want to go forward or they want to push it through the hands. There was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And as a consequence, Jarome and Lachie Galvin put themselves under a bit of pressure. If the Tigers, I think, would be far better served. No fuss coming out of trouble, right? Drive, 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 get yourself in a position maybe for an attacking kick, knock it down the other end. If you want to push the ball wide and there's opportunity, just get it there. But there was just, at times in that first 30 minutes, they were betwixt and between.
I like what Lachie Galvin brings. Like, he's energetic. Like, he just wants to be involved. He'll turn up on the left-hand short side. He'll be 2 passes wide on the right. He's just wanting to be involved in the game. He needs to hold on to that. I think Jarome Luai doesn't need to fall into this game manager with the 7 on his back where he just shovel pass, shovel pass. And when he steps, he's stepping sideways. Yes. I think he needs to go forward. Yeah. All his good stuff at Penrith, when he was running, he had forward momentum, and then it was left foot, left foot. He just needs to get back into being run the ball, because if he had ran the ball yesterday, I'm pretty certain he scores a try, sets up another, and it's a more dominant performance.
Because halfway through the year last year, when Origin just emerged, he found his best football because there was more step, accelerate, rather than step and step. And, you know, you can see at the moment, there were a few things during the game. I watched him, and he was trying to corral the players into shape, and they were struggling getting there. There was once from a scrum, a player was supposed to run a certain line. He didn't. He missed his cue. I saw Jarome get into him. He's wrestling with a lot of that stuff at the moment. To come from a system in Penrith where the players are locked into position, you see blokes, 2 or 3 blokes at a time, swinging from edge to edge. It's so coordinated. And to be in that machine for a long time, then suddenly go into a new team with new combinations and trying to corral them, it's very difficult.
Yeah, there was a play in the second half early where it was slow, it was bad. It was shovel pass, end up being an error on the extreme side. But if it had just been, you know, maybe dummy half run, just forward thrust, then Jarome gets it, and he might bounce off his left and go forward, and there's a inside pass. Or
you know, all these things they'd be able to tinker with. I think there'd be Tigers fans going, Jesus Christ, boys, we did win, which they did. You know, and I thought with Api Coruscant coming back, Jarome Buller, I had a feeling they were going to do a job on Parramatta at the moment. Parramatta are in a very dark place, but I think there were some things in that game if you're Tiger supporter gives you a surge of optimism of where their season can go.
There's something great about our game when the Tigers are winning and smiling.
Oh, yeah.
Like they were, Taruva scored a couple, he was pumped up, the crowd was getting involved. But what'd you make of Parramatta?
Look, at the moment, a lot of those young rookies are just find themselves, at the moment, out of their depth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them have come into the side at the same time. I don't know many teams in the modern era where all young guys just come into a side and suddenly everything clicks. You go through hard times. There was some, like I remember that Manly side and Canberra with the Green Machine. Guys come through and they sort of picked up, but they were surrounded by a lot of experience as well. So they're in a very, very difficult situation. And Coops, they're operating without their steering wheel, which is Mitchell Moses. That makes things very, very difficult. I feel for Jason Ryles. He's walked into, excuse the French, a complete shit fight. You know, with Dylan Brown leaving and all these other factors.
I will say this, I picked up something interesting. Lomax was the big off-season signing, wanted to play centre, wants to dominate the centre position. He spent 3 months sort of practising the art of defending back in the centres. He does get caught out against Melbourne Storm a couple of times. But then to start the game on the weekend, he's defending on the wing and attacking in the centres.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, I don't know if it was Lomax's call, Jason's call, but that was a little bit strange to see that unfold.
I actually, if I'm Jason, I like that, Coops, because I think Jason Ryles looks at the team and says, righto, where are my experienced guys? You know, who are the guys that can win a game for me? And there's only a couple there, right? And he's one of them. And I think he looks at Ryles and says, look, I'm just going to work out a system of play where I can get as much as I can out of Zach. Look, I don't think Zach has a problem doing that. It's the guy he plays alongside. You know, he mirrors it. He's got to do the opposite. That's difficult for a young player.
And I will say this, I think Junior Barlow needs to lead. Like, at no stage yesterday did he fly out of line and try and rattle a Tigers defender. Didn't skittle defenders carrying the ball. Like, he just needs to lead.
The concern, Coops, for Parramatta is that when the Tigers scored, and there was a lot of errors both sides, but Penrith dug in defensively and they repelled them a few times. But once the Tigers got that first try, you could see their defensive effort start to subside. And that try before half-time just killed them.